What's up, cool people? Wanted to take a second, make a quick intro guide. I see a lot of people ask on like Demon Souls groups for like beginner tips and stuff. I've played all the Souls games before, so if you're new to the series, it could be kind of daunting not knowing what everything is, especially Demon Souls. It has a lot of things that the Dark Souls series doesn't have. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run through this level. This isn't like a super immersive guide, so if you're trying to like get every single item, this probably isn't the one. I just want to get through the level in a good speed and pick up maybe some of the key items that are available. In the meantime, I'll be talking about just kind of general tips for starting players. So yeah, here we go. I think the first thing you guys should probably know, if you don't, is that there's two forms that you can play as. You can play in this spirit-looking form, where it has kind of this blue hue to me. This form halves your health. As you can see, I only have half my health, but you should play in this form almost all the time. The reason is, Demon Souls in particular, if you turn into your human form, you can do that using a Stone of Ethereal Eyes, I believe. If you do that, or if you defeat a boss, it'll turn you human as well. But if you die, the game actually makes it harder every single time that you die. So the enemies will become harder, you'll become weaker. It'll actually introduce red versions of enemies that are much harder than the standard versions. So the last thing you want to do is to die in Demon Souls in particular. So just stay in Phantom form. The only con also with Phantom form is that you can't summon anybody to help you. But a tactic I like to do is just get through the level by yourself, especially unlock all the shortcuts in a level, and you'll be able to get to the fog gate right before a boss, and then you'll be able to just summon a blue phantom from the fog gate. That way you limit the chances of you dying or being invaded by another player. That's usually a good way to die, is when you get invaded by an active player. So moving on from that, as you can see, if you've never played a Souls game before, it's really easy to kill enemies if you just circle behind them and stab them in the back. It does critical damage. That and also parrying them. So let me just kill this guy really quick and I'll show you that. Alright. So you can either stab them in the back, or you can parry them. Parrying them means that you go like this, or press L2 right before they attack you, and it kind of puts them off balance. Like that. Oh no! Party foul. So you need to have a sword out, not a spell, and then you can just stab them in the front. That does more damage than a backstab, but it's also harder to do because you have to swing your shield right when they attack you. You can only do it with small shields as well, not large shields. As pretty as it looks down there, you don't want to fall down there, you'll die. Watch out for this guy right here. Alright, so the number one thing that will probably kill you in this game is getting swarmed by enemies. You always want to try and lure enemies out one at a time. Try to avoid taking on a mass of them, like I'm going to do right now with these two dudes up here. Alright, I already grabbed that item. Alright, so... Alright, see? So you grab one, and then now you don't have to fight two at a time, which is crucial. Alright, making some easy progress here. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is item burden versus equip burden. So there are two weights to this game. The item burden basically says how much you can carry. So you can carry like throwable items, you can carry healing items, everything has a weight to the right of it. The more that you carry, eventually you'll carry so much that the character just can't carry anything else. Luckily, if you ever feel like you're carrying too much, you could always send something to storage, like this sword. I'm not using it. I can just go here, send it directly to storage, and boom, now I can carry more. So it's really cool. The other thing that you want to worry about, and this is actually extremely important, is you'll notice to the top right, it'll say equip burden. It's at 24.3%. That's how much you're actually carrying. Like this little sword right here, it only weighs 0.8. But if I'm carrying something that weighs a lot more, like a very large sword, eventually that 24.3% will go up. You never want to be at 50 or above. If you're carrying too much, this rolling animation will be extremely slow. It's called fat rolling, and you'll just roll so slow that it makes you extremely vulnerable to being attacked. So you never want to carry too much. We're actually going to collect a ring in this level that'll let us hold more items at once. And I'll show you guys where that's at. Another... Oh, hold on. That dude up there is annoying. I want to be careful with these two fire dudes here. And this guy up here. Alright, I could touch it, considering I'm using magic, you touch base on the character. My starting character class was it'll say right there in the top, class royalty. I recommend the royalty because it starts at soul level 1. So what that means is you can level up your character how you like, because you have more levels to input without going too high. The meta for Demon Souls is usually about soul level 120. Every time you upgrade one of your stats, it brings it higher. You try to not want to go above 120, because if you go too high, it's going to be really hard to find any type of PvP. Oops. But if you can keep it lower, that'd be even better. I have a level 120, but it's getting kind of hard to find PvP matches. My PvP characters, I keep them all around like level 55 or 60. That way it's really easy to invade or to find help. So, let me kill this dude. Bye. Alright. Alright, so for this part, I actually already went through it, but you want to make sure there's a boulder, or gonna be a boulder right up there. You want to run about halfway up like this, and then just run back down as quickly as you can, so that the boulder will fall down here and break this area, and then you'll be able to drop down here and pick up a sword, which is also important. Speaking of which, if you notice, I just went into photo mode. You can actually go into your settings. I believe it is under controller. Camera? Display? There we go, controls, there it is. Alright, so on the bottom you'll notice you can customize the touchpad. If you set the right side of the touchpad to be photo mode, then you'll essentially have a pause button, which Demon Souls does not have a pause button. So this thing like is a very valuable tool. You could literally pause with the touch of one button. Now this doesn't prevent you from getting invaded. Like right now, if I'm paused and I get invaded, it'll unpause, and then I'll get invaded. But you only get invaded when you're in human form, so you won't have to worry about that if you're playing in soul form. Let's kill this guy. Alright, usually I'd run through this a lot faster, but I'm trying to go over these tips with you guys. So we're just gonna stab this guy a couple times. Alright, so this is as far as we're gonna go. You can keep going this way, but you're eventually just gonna reach a dead end, because it leads over there to that red eye guy. That red eye guy is actually really strong. He'll probably kill you a couple times if you're new. But you don't want to go that way until you have a special key that opens up that church looking place. But we'll talk about that later. So we're going to want to go this way first. Careful with this blue eye guy. He's a little stronger than most. But again, really susceptible to backstabs, just like everybody else. It's funny, I've never seen him push off like that. Alright, cool. So now we're going to keep going this way. The boss is actually this way. But you want to go this way first so that we can unlock a shortcut. Just in case you do die, you'll be able to get back here a little bit faster. There's also a very, very important ring down here that you're going to want to grab. Just be careful with these dudes with the flaming swords. They're actually pretty strong and annoying. You'll be tempted, and alright. You're gonna be tempted. Woo! Alright, see? Yep, you gotta be careful with these guys. Alright. Now you're gonna be tempted, if you're brand new and you don't know how to level, to just kind of level up a bunch of different things. You don't want to do that. You want to figure out what weapon you're gonna want to carry for most of the game, and just level up that whatever that weapon requires. So for example, if I want to carry the Dragon Bone Snatcher, which is a strength weapon, then of course I'm going to want to level strength and vitality and endurance so that I can swing it a couple more times, I'll have more health, and then it'll do more damage the more strength that I have. Now if I'm going to be doing magic and playing with spells like this one, then I'm not going to need strength. It's going to be completely pointless. You're going to want to level vitality because you could always use health. And then you're also going to want to level your intelligence and your magic, because that determines how much damage you do. Now really quick, I actually missed something up here. You want to come up here. There's going to be these chains. I keep doing that. You want to break these chains on both sides. And then let's run back down. Those chains are attached to dead bodies that were hanging there. So if you break them, when you come down here, you'll be able to grab the stuff that's on them. Alright, so let's grab this ring. This is the ring I was talking about. It's called the Cling Ring. If you notice my health, what this ring will do is give me more HP when in soul form. So the penalty I take for being a soul form, it's going to be reduced. I don't have that much health, so it's not a big difference, but it'll be really useful later when you gain more health. So this will give me an armor set with some old spice that you use to get more magic. And the jade hair ornament, that hair ornament, it'll get you a ring. So if you're trying to go for the trophy, you want to make sure to pick that up. You want to trade it with Stockpile Thomas. That's the dude that holds all your shit. If you give it to him, he'll actually give you a ring that lets you carry more things. So that's really useful in a pinch, although it's kind of useless now that you can send things directly to storage, but sometimes it helps when you're just trying to try out different setups. Alright, so now that we open that shortcut, we can come back here and continue through the level. There's two ways you can go through this level. I'm just going to do the way that saves an NPC. So if you run up to this wall and hit circle, you'll actually jump it. I call him the Lost Boy. He's one of the NPCs that you have to save multiple times throughout the level. At the end, I think he gives you like a stone or something. Honestly, he ends up getting lost sometimes, even when you end up protecting him and saving him. So a lot of people just like to kill him right now, in the beginning of the level. It'll reduce your character and world tendency, which we're going to talk about next. So I would just leave him alive until like level 3. But he does drop a key to the area that we were talking about with the Red Eye Knight. He'll drop a key that lets you in there, and you'll be able to fight this extremely powerful Old King dude that drops a really good armor set, the Old King set, as well as a stamina ring, which is also very useful. But for right now, we're just going to save him. We're going to kill him later. Alright, there we go. Wow! Alright, so we're not going to talk about what just happened. You want to be careful with these little piles of fire, because as you can see, it kills you. Alright, so where were we? After you save this dude, he'll talk to you.
For your brave rescue. I am.
And then he just starts walking around the level. He'll give you a brass telescope. You can just look down it, nothing special there. Now you want to be careful. If you are trying to get the key that he drops, he kind of walks around the level at this point, fighting people. and sometimes he does die. And if he dies and drops the key, it's kind of lost if you don't know and don't pick it up. So you definitely want to be careful that he doesn't get lost. Like if he comes and fights this blue-eye guy, he'll probably take a good amount of damage. So you just want to help him out, make sure there's nobody that's going to kill him. Usually if you kill this dude, he could handle the rest of the weaker enemies. Let's grab some additional stuff here. A scimitar. Oh, let's see, he's getting into something over here. You know what? I'm sure he'll be fine. We'll just leave him there. Alright, so another thing I wanted to touch on is world tendency. Now, world tendency is extremely important. Going back to playing in human form, you definitely don't want to die because it makes the game harder, but also because it'll also take away your opportunity to get certain pieces of equipment that are extremely valuable. So you have a certain amount of chances to be in white world tendency. So the more bosses you kill and the more invaders you kill, the whiter your world goes. If it's completely white, it'll unlock certain areas that aren't unlocked normally, and you'll be able to get certain pieces of armor or good weapons, all sorts of stuff. But if you die, it goes down, and if you kill all the bosses in your world, at that point, you're gonna be stuck because now you're gonna need to get lucky and hope that either a random invader invades you or one of your friends invades you, because you're not going to be able to change it without going into the new game plus and starting a completely new game with the same character. The same also applies to the opposite. So let's say you keep dying and your world goes completely black. The opposite happens. It'll also unlock certain areas with certain red phantoms. It'll also drop certain items, but you can't get the same things in black world tendency as in white. So a good tactic is you want to turn the world white by not dying and beating all the bosses first. Then you can get all the white event items. Once you have those, you can turn around and die a couple times and get all the black event items. So for this area, there's a whole bunch of enemies down this pathway. You can find them one by one, you know, if you hate yourself. Or you could just break this barrier and then turn them into pancakes. It's actually really funny. I got a Dragon Boys over there. So we're almost to the end of the level, actually. Let's just draw out one of these guys. Alright, so there's two, so I'm going to try and deal with one at range. You never want to try and fight two people at once. Alright, cool. Now, we don't have to go this way necessarily to unlock the boss, but I do want to grab a ring. This ring is going back to equipment burden, so this is going to help you with, like, if you're going to play like a very heavy type knight that has heavy swords and you don't want a fat roll, like I said, you can get this ring and it'll help you have a reduced equip burden by like 50%. So it's really useful if you're going to have heavy armor and a heavy sword. These dragons, you don't want to fight right now. You're not going to really be able to kill them. The blue one just kind of ignores you unless you get right up under his tail, but the red one's going to throw fire. But if you see that furthest item, that's where the ring is. That's where we're going to go. You just kind of want to run as fast as you can in a straight line, and his fire shouldn't touch you. But you got to commit, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So we're going to go down here, make sure we have enough stamina, and then we're just going to run for it. Alright, so he got me a little bit, but as you can see, perfectly manageable. And now you have this ring. This ring, like I said, it'll make you a lot lighter if you're being weighed down by heavy armor. It'll also go towards the trophy. If you're trying to get the trophy, you're going to need to collect all of the rings. So definitely want to pick that up. In that area, there's also a flame shield that almost completely negates fire damage when you level it up. I'm not going to get it right now. I typically don't end up using it, but just so you know it's there. Now this area, don't run down this bridge. Not that you would, because the dragon's gonna breathe a bunch of fire. So you just want to go up a little bit, just enough to trigger the dragon to show up, and then run back down. Okay, see? If you're too far back, the dragon won't breathe fire. Let's deal with these guys first. Alright, cool. So if you stand like right here, then he'll breathe fire at us. You want to go as soon as he's done breathing. Alright, so I guess he's taking a nap because... Wait for him to start and then just run away. There we go. So now for this part, you want to stay down here. Wait until he goes back. He'll hover there for just a second, and then he's gonna fly away. And that's when you want to run. Not... Oh, no. If he breathes fire again, then just try backing up a little bit more. Alright, so now he should fly away, and now we run. And make sure he doesn't catch you, and then you should be good. Now when you get over here, do not forget to pull this lever. Gonna go ahead and skip it so it doesn't show anything, but that'll basically unlock the boss. We're gonna keep going, kill this dude. Watch out behind you. So the first boss is actually really easy, thankfully. Okay, see, there's two of them. We don't want to fight them together. We're gonna go ahead and back up and try and pick them off one at a time. Perfect. Another important thing to remember is not to waste your boss souls. When you kill a boss, it'll drop its soul. You want to make sure not to consume those. It'll give you a good chunk of souls, but you can turn them into spells and weapons later on. So just save all of your boss souls. So right up here, we're going to see one of the enemies we're about to fight. The boss we're going to fight now is basically a bunch of these blobs. The blobs aren't that strong, they just throw spears at you, but if you hit them from the front, they are pretty resistant to damage. As you can tell, I'm only doing 14 damage. But just go behind them and hit them in their fat jelly, and you're good to go. Gonna go ahead and grab this. Now, throughout the level, you have been hopefully picking up plenty of fire bombs. Those fire bombs are going to be important for this boss because it'll make them a lot easier. Alright, so if he didn't die, then these guys should be cleared out already. Alright, cool. So we've officially made it to the boss. Hold on, this guy got excited. Alright. Make sure you put on any fire bombs you have. look like this. I have 16, and that's just off of the level itself, finding them on the floor and enemies. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and kill this guy. As you can tell, it's just a big blob of these little shield dudes. And then the actual boss is in the center of them. But as you can see, if you have fire bombs, this boss fight is extremely easy. Yeah, at this point the boss is exposed, so you can just attack him directly. If you have any pine resin, you can also use that. That'll do a little more damage. Alright. Careful not to die. Yeah, so you don't have to kill all the baby ones. As soon as you kill the big one, the rest will die. And there you go. So now you get your body form back. What you want to do now is go ahead and go back into the Nexus, which is that hub area. And this is the last thing we'll touch on. Once you come here, the only world that is not affected by you dying in human form is this one. So you want to basically just kill yourself. Every single time you get your body back and you're trying not to reduce the world tendency in your actual worlds, you just run all the way up here, jump down, and die. Now it's really important, you want to go back and get your freshly collected souls, don't want to lose those. But that's about it. I hope this helps somebody. I know there's a lot of beginner questions. I guess the main takeaway would be soul tendency. If you're trying to get those rare items, or if you're trying to get the trophies, make sure not to die in human form. Just make sure you get all your worlds white. You can tell that they're white from this screen. If you notice, they're all grayish colors right now. The more bosses you kill, they'll start progressively becoming more white. The more times you die, they'll get to the point where they're pitch black. So yeah, that's the main takeaway. Don't die in body form so you can get some of the rare weapons. And once you get those rare weapons, then you can die and go all the way to black, and then you can get the other rare weapons or items. But I hope this helps someone, and I'll see you guys around.